All right, let's talk about something we have all struggled with, building healthy habits that actually, stick. We're going to get into the real science of why we succeed and why we fail, and how you can start engineering a better you, like right now. So let's just start with the biggest question of all. Why is it so ridiculously hard to make a good habit stick? You know the drill. You start a new workout plan, a new diet, a new budget, you're full of motivation, and then a few weeks later, you're right back where you started. It happens to everyone, and honestly, it is so frustrating. But what if I told you the problem isn't that you lack willpower, that it's not about just gritting your teeth and trying harder? The real reason is actually hiding deep inside your brain. It's this hidden, powerful loop that's running on autopilot. And once you see it, once you really understand it, you can start working with your brain instead of constantly fighting against it. Okay, let's dive into it. We are about to crack the code that runs pretty much all of our habits: the good, the bad, and the ugly. It's a surprisingly simple three-part system that scientists call the habit loop. So every single habit you have, literally everyone, follows this exact three-step pattern. First, there's a cue. That's the trigger. It could be a time of day, a place, even an emotion. Then comes the routine, which is the actual behavior, the thing you do. And finally, you get the reward. That's the little prize at the end that tells your brain, hey, that was good. Let's remember this for next time. Think about your phone. The cue, a notification buzz. The routine, picking it up and scrolling. The reward, a little hit of connection or just a distraction from boredom. Cue, routine, reward. Simple, right? But there's one more piece to this puzzle, and it's the real engine that drives the whole thing: craving. See, your brain doesn't just wait for the reward to happen. It starts to anticipate it. The second that cue hits, your brain starts craving the feeling of the reward. And that powerful, deep-seated feeling is what pushes you into the routine, usually before you even have a chance to think about it. And look, this isn't just some nice idea. It is pure neurology. As author Charles Duhigg puts it, the cue and the reward literally get wired together in our brains. That craving is the glue that makes the habit loop so automatic and, frankly, so tough to break. So if our brains are just running on these powerful automatic loops, how in the world do we change anything? Well, that brings us to what is maybe the single most important strategy for redesigning our habits. It's called the golden rule. And this is absolutely brilliant because of how simple it is. You can't just get rid of a cue in your life, right? And your brain is not going to let go of a reward it craves. So the golden rule says you keep the cue and you keep the reward, but you consciously swap in a different, better routine. You find a new behavior that delivers a similar payoff. So how do we actually apply this rule in real life? Well, the secret is to start small. I mean, think minimalist. All the behavioral science shows that the easier a new habit is to start, the more likely you are to actually stick with it. We're talking about micro habits, things that are so simple, so tiny, that it feels almost silly not to do them. Let's look at a few high-impact areas where you can apply this. For your body, the foundations are pretty simple, right? Move more. Try to eat a balanced diet. Get that 7 to 9 hours of sleep, and stay hydrated. Now, these aren't some revolutionary new ideas, but when you stop thinking of them as huge goals and start framing them as tiny routines you can swap into your life, they become way more achievable. For instance, a goal like move more just feels enormous. It's overwhelming. But what about a simple 5-minute daily stretch? The cue could be putting on your shoes in the morning. The new routine is just this super quick series of stretches. And the reward? Feeling a little less stiff, a little more energized. It's a tiny, tiny change that can build some serious momentum. And the exact same logic applies to our mental well-being. Feeling overwhelmed at work? That feeling of stress is the cue. So instead of your usual routine, maybe mindlessly scrolling social media, your new routine could be a simple 3-breath technique, or just stepping away from your desk for 1 minute. The reward is that incredible feeling of calm and control. These little resets break the stress cycle and build resilience over time. And, this whole framework isn't just for health and wellness. It's incredibly powerful for building financial stability. Instead of impulsive spending when you're bored, that's the cue, you can swap in a new routine, like just tracking that one purchase in an app. Or you can build bigger habits around things like the 50-20-30 rule for your income. That's 50% for needs, 20% for savings, 30% for wants. These things create boundaries that deliver the ultimate reward of financial peace of mind. Okay, so starting a new habit is one thing. We can all do that. But making it permanent, that's the real mountain to climb. How do we get past the inevitable slip-ups and make sure these new routines actually become second nature? Well, the single biggest trap is what I call the perfection mindset. You know what I'm talking about? You eat one cookie and your brain goes, well, the diet's ruined. Might as well eat the entire box. The key is to shift to a consistency mindset. A setback isn't a failure. It's just data. It's part of the process. The goal is not to be perfect. The goal is just to get back on track. I'm telling you, consistency will beat intensity every single time. And please be patient with yourself. Seriously, research shows that on average, it takes about 2 months, around 66 days, for a new behavior to become truly automatic. It is not going to happen overnight, so you have to give yourself the grace to let the process unfold and let those new pathways form in your brain. And to really lock it all in for the long haul, focus on these 4 keys. Be super specific about your goals. Tell a friend what you're doing. That accountability is huge. Think ahead about what might throw you off course and have a plan for it. And finally, reward yourself for your progress. But, and this is important, choose rewards that actually support your goals, not ones that undermine them. So here's the crucial point, the big takeaway from all of this. You are not at the mercy of your habits. By understanding this simple, powerful system, the cue, the routine, and the reward, you actually gain the ability to become the architect of your own behavior. You have the power to consciously redesign your life, one tiny, tiny routine at a time. And that leaves us with one final question. This isn't about some massive life overhaul that starts tomorrow. It's about starting right now with one small thing. So, what is one tiny routine you could swap out today to start building a better you?